Welcome back, friends. So in the previous video we have created the folders. So user can move to the folder, user can fetch folder, and user can create the new folder here. So we have created these some types of folders, and also we have did one thing here. So here the user can create means user can see the level of the folder, so in which folder the user is using this breadcrumbs. So today what we will do, so today in this video we are going to create the files and we are going to fetch the files. So yes, we are going to create and we are going to fetch the file even in the subfolder as well. So now without wasting any time, let's get into it. So this is our coding section here. So first of all we will create the action types and action creators for files. So here we will create for the file. First of all we are going to add create file, add file, and then here export const create file. Here will be add files. So we are going to add the multiple files. Now let's go to the reducers, and here we will go to the file folders. So here we will create for the files, add files. Next, for the creating of the file, just save this. So here what we are doing, so we are taking the types from the add file. So if this type is matching, then we are going to just add the user files, and then if the creating a file, then just we are going to append the data in the user files. Now let's go to the action creators and let's create some actions for the files. So here first of all add files will be there. Type will be types.add file, add files, then there is a payload, and second for a create file. Now here we will create some action creators for that. So first of all, to get all the files, then we will be having the user ID. So here just I'm going to console.log our user ID, and other thing we are going to do it later. And then to add a file here. So to create a file, so here if we want to create a file here, so actually we have this one. So let's write here, we have create folder and add folder. So here we will write add file, and here will be create file. Just console our data. So just console log the data and just save this. So now we have completed this. So our next step is to create a pop-up same like this one here. So when I'm going to here, let's go to the dashboard. So here when I will click on the create folder, so this type of pop-up we have to create for the creation of file. So let's do that. So for that pop-up what we will do, so let me close all this, and here we will go to the folder component. So just I'm going to copy this component. Sorry, we don't need any folder component, we need the create folder here. So here I'm going to copy the create folder and just I'm going to paste the create folder here. So here let's change the name to create file. So create file, and here we will change the name create file.jsx. So this one we have. So here instead of this create folder, so I'm going to change this to create file. So create file, and let's go to the bottom. Here it will be create file. So here just we have to change few things, and here I'm going to just comment this. I'm going to comment this because we are going to use this import, but here instead of create folder we are going to change here something. So here instead of create folder I'm going to write create file. So here will be create file, and then here we are going to set create file name. Here instead of folder name there will be file name, and here will be files, user files, and current folder we need, and current folder data we also need. So we need the current folder data as well. So here I'm going to change this to current user files. So here will be user files. So we have the user files in the file folder state here, and then let's go to the bottom. Here we have to check the file. So instead of folder we are going to check the file here. So file, so there is folder, file, use files. So here we have the folder. So here will be file. Instead of this current folder we have so let me change the current folder. So we have current file. We need the current folder. So file.data.parent will be according to the current folder. So it can be root as well. And then here let's move forward. And here we will write if file is present, and here we will check for the file, and here we will not write folder name, file name. Here will be also file name, and here will be also file name. So we are going to change the folder name. So folder name to file name, and then here path will be same. So same thing we are going to do. So path will be according to the folder. So according to the folder the path will be there, and parent will be also according to the current folder. Then here I'm going to just do like this. I'm going to comment this code because we don't need this for now. Just I'm going to console log our data, and here instead of folder there will be file already present. Now here we have to check one thing, if the file extension is mentioned or not. So if the file extension is not mentioned, so this means that we have some we will add default extension as .txt. So here let's check it. So first of all we have file length name. So here we will check if the extension is there. So if here we are going to check file extension. So here we are going to check the file extension. So this means that if file.split.length is greater than 1. So if the extension is not mentioned, then we are going to let the extension. So extension, so by default extension will be null. So here we are going to mention if the extension is there, then we are going to write extension by default as txt. Otherwise, if there is the extension, then we are not going to mention anything in the extension, because it will be always there like that. So by default there will be .txt. So here just I'm going to write extension as txt. So let me define it as boolean, as false means by default the extension is not there. So if I will check like this, so this means that here will be the extension, so that will be true. So check file already present, so everything will be there. And here to the name, what we are going to do, so for the name we are going to check if extension is there. So if extension is there, so this means that this it will be having the file name. Otherwise we are going to mention the txt extension. So by default there will be a txt extension. So if the user will not mention any file name with the extension, then automatically .txt will be added with the extension. Now let's move forward here. So everything will be okay here. So here we are going to write create file, and set is create file will be there, and this one we are going to pass, and everything is correct. So here file name is there, set file name, and here we are going to write file name, and also we have to mention some example. So example file.txt, index.html, index.php, or index.ts, index.js, like this. So we have done this. Now handler submit is also there. Just we are going to write create file, and I think everything is done. Just save this. So here we have the current files. So now we need this. So we have this create file here, and here also we have create file. Now let's move forward. So we will move to the home page, or let's move to the subbar. So we will move to the subbar. So here is create model folder is there, and we have to move to the dashboard. So let's move to the dashboard. In the pages, dashboard page, and this dashboard here. So here we need to do this like this same, and here will be create file. So create file will be there. So we have to pass this thing, and here we have also to pass create file is create file model open, and here we have to create the state. So set is file model open, and here we are going to write is create file model open, like this. So here we are going to write if this file model is open, then we are going to open this, otherwise we are not going to open this. Now let's go to the subbar. Under the subbar we are going to paste this set is create file model open, and then we are going to move at the bottom, and here we are going to add the on click event. So we are going to add the on click event here. So here to the create file button, and here we are going to set is create file model open, true or false. Now let's move forward, and let's click here. You can see that we have this create file name example like this. Whenever we click on create file, we are just going to console log this. So in the console, I think we have some errors. So file name is not defined. There is some typo error. So there is the typo error. Let's go to this one. So where we have the typo error, so it is file name. Just save this. Now let me click on create file. You can see that file name cannot be empty, and here I am writing index.html. I am under the root folder. So click on create file. You can see the data here. We have the parent as root, and the path is null here. So but here we need some things here. So you can see that. So in the files we have the data as well as we have the URL. We have the data and we have the URL. So this one is a created file. We are working with the created files here. So URL is there, and then there is the extension. We need the extension as well, and then there is the data. So these three things we also need. So let's embed those. So here what we are going to write. So here will be extension. So extension we have like this, extension is there, otherwise we are going to split the extension. So then we have the data. So by default the data will be null, and then URL. So by default the URL will also be null. Just save this. Now whenever we click on create file, now you can see the data here. Index.html is the name and extension HTML like this. And when I will go to the another folder, and here I will write index.html, press enter, and you can see that we have this path here, and you can see that we have the parent as well, and here we have the data null and URL also null. So now let's apply the Firebase, and now then we are good to go. And after that we are going to fetch the all files. So let's add that functionality here. So for that we are going to move to the Redux. So here what I'm going to do, so here we have to first of all import those Redux things here. So here we have to add the create file, and then in this create file we are going to pass the data, create folder, we are going to pass the data here, and with the data we have to pass also something. So that is for the success, we have to pass here, yeah. So here what we are going to do, so here I'm going to create a success, set success. By default the success will be false, and here I'm going to have the use effect. So let's write the use effect. So we have the use effect, and here if success will be there, so this one we are going to do for the folder as well, but not in this video. So that we will do in the some free time. And here I'm going to set file name as this one and set success as false, and same I'm going to do as set create file mode open as false here. Just save this and just go back here, and here I'm going to pass the success with the data, set success. Just save this, and now let's move forward to the Redux, and here I'm going to the action creators. Let's go to the file folder action creator. So here there is the create file, and here we need this set success. So because we are passing the set success as well, now here we want to use the Firebase. So let's use the Firebase. So fire, we have already imported the fire, you can see that configuration of Firebase. So fire.firestore, we have the firestore, and the connection will be files, and then we are going to add the data, and then async, there will be this one is the asynchronous thing. And here what we are going to do, so here we are going to get the file data, and then its document ID, file document data, and same type of the procedure we are going to pass here. And if we have some errors, that we are also going to handle .catch. So if we have some errors, just we are going to mention set success false like this. And then here we have already dispatched the thing, save this. And here we have to alert also, alert file created successfully. Just save this. And now let's see. So let's see here in the coding section. So here I'm going to close this. So let's first of all create a file in the root folder. So let's create a file. So here we have some errors. So let's see what are those errors here. So here the error is at the create file, that is use effect is not defined. So same type of error. So use effect I haven't imported. So let's import the use effect. And here we have the create file. So am I using create file? So here I am using the create folder. So instead of that I have to use create file. Just save this. So now there is not any error. Let's click on create file. So here I'm going to mention the file name as index.html. Just click on create file. You can see that file created successfully, and here you can see that we have the file here. You can see the test user, extension HTML, index.html, like this. So now let's try to create index.html again. Click on create file. You can see that we are getting file already present. So now let's create only index file with the name, and let's click on create file. Now you will see that the file will be created successfully, file created successfully, and here you can see that we have the extension, so that is index.txt. So index.txt will be the extension here. So but here we have some error, like if I'm going to create index file again and I will click on create file, so it will create us the file again. So it will create us the index.txt file again. So here we have two index.txt. So index.html. So here also we have one more index.txt. So this thing we don't want. So we have to, I'm going to delete one txt file. And first of all, let's fetch all the files, and then I'm going to tell that how we have to solve this error here. So let's first of all fetch all the files. So to fetch all the files, first of all I'm going to the dashboard page, and on the dashboard page here we have the get folders, and like the same we will be having the get files. So get files, just save this. I have imported the get files here, so you can see that get files. So now let's go to the action creator, and here we are going to same type of this thing. So we don't want to add the loading here, so I'm going to just copy the code of folders, just paste this. So here from the files, we are going to add the user ID. So there is the user ID. So here we have to get all the files. So we have to get all the files, uploaded file as well as created files. But we are just fetching now the files here. So as we are just creating the created files, so we are going to fetch the created files only. And to differentiate between the created file and the URL dead file, so that we are going to do it later. So we are going to do that. So here we need one thing here. So let's go here, delete all the files. So let's delete all the files. So I'm going to delete this document, and I'm going to delete this document as well. So here to differentiate between the downloaded and created file, so in the created file what I'm going to do, so in the created file I'm going to add the URL as null. So if the URL will be null, so here it will be having null here, so null value will be there, that's updated. So if here URL will be null, so this means that this is created file. So if here data is the null, so this means that this is the uploaded file. So here what I'm going to do here, so let's go to the create file here. So under that, here what I'm going to do, here I'm going to add URL as null. As this is a created file, so here URL will be null here. So now let's move forward. So let's move forward here. So here now we have fetched all the files here. So here to the files, and instead of this folders I'm going to write the files, and here files dot data, files dot id. So here will be a file dot data and file dot id. So we are not going to set the loading, and here will be the files here. So here will be the files data, and yes, for this one also we are going to set the loading here. So I'm going to set the loading here as well. So let's not add the loading, just save this. So here we have the to get the files here. So here will be add files, just save this. So now let's first of all create a file here. So I'm going to create a file named index. Just click on create. So we will be having the index.txt file, and then here let's create a new file with index.html. Let's click on create. So we have file already present. So index.html is it already present. So actually I haven't refreshed the page. Yeah, I have to refresh the page. So previously I did not refresh the page. So click on dashboard, and here you can see that here in the files here I have only one file. So and also I'm having the ID of that file. So this means that our data is fetching from there. So now I will just click on create file, and here will be the index.html. Just click on create file. Our index.html will be created successfully. So now let's show all the files here. So to show all the files, what I'm going to do, I'm going to the home page, and let's go to the home page. Sorry, not to the home page here. So we will go to the dashboard page. So under the dashboard page here I'm going to the home component. Under the home component I'm going to show the all created files. So here let's fetch the user files here. So user files, or I'm going to fetch only, okay, just I'm going to fetch the user files. So here we have the user files here. So all type of files I'm going to fetch. So these are files in which the parent is root. So we have the user files. Now we have the created files here. So we just want to send the files here. So we don't need any this one array here. So here we want to fetch the files whose we are going to map through all the files, and then here we have the file. So we have to return those files whose data is just we have to filter. We have to return those files whose means data is not null, but whose URL is null. File.data dot URL is null. So if it is null, so this means that these are the created files. Now you can see that we have index.txt and we have index.html. So I'm refreshing it, loading. Click on dashboard, it is loading, and you can see that we have created file index.html and as well as index.txt. So only two files we have here. You can see that we have only two files, and same thing we want to do here. So same thing we will do in the file component. So let's go to the in the folder component. Let's go to the folder component, and here we will be having the child files. So all type of files we will be having child files, and let's do that. So child files we have. So we have the child files here, and then here we have to mention the created files here. So created files, and type will be file here. Here we will be having the same type of error, same type of thing. So if it is a created file, so its data URL will be null here. So now let's go to the new folder, and here you can see that we don't have any created files here. So here what I'm going to do, so I'm going to write if child files dot length will be greater than 0, then only we want to show this. Otherwise we don't want to show this. So same thing we are going to do for the child folders. So if child folders dot length is greater than 0, then only we want to show these ones. Otherwise we are not going to show these ones. Just save this. So you can see that now we don't have any created files. So let's create a file here, index. Let's click on create file. So here file created successfully. Now you can see that we have this created file here. So now we have the error here. So like we have the logical error. So whenever we have not mentioned the extension of the file, so we are not getting like if this file is already present or not. So now let's fix this error and then we are done with today's video. So now let's move here. So we will move to the create file.jsx. So here we have to check if the file is already present. So here check file already present. So here we have to mention we have mentioned the name here. So here we have to check the extension as well. So if file data.name is equals to name, and so here we will check the extension. So first of all, here what I'm going to do, here I'm going to pass the extension as well. So here I'm going to pass the extension to check if the extension is there or not. So here I'm going to pass extension. So this means that if extension is false, so here will be false. So if extension is false, so this means that we are going to mention the .txt, otherwise we are not going to mention the .txt. So here I'm going to write if extension is there, if extension is there. So if extension is not there, then we are going to write name is equals to, so name will be name plus .txt. We are going to add with that. Just save this. Now if I will try here to create the index, so I will try to create index, click on create file. You can see that we have file is already present. So this means that this is working for us. So here I'm going to also check index here. So here you can see that file already present. Let's check for index.html. Click on create file. You can see that we are getting file already present. So we have done with fetching, creating and showing the files. So for today this is enough, and in the next video we will create the UI for this created files code editor, and then in the next video we are going to see how we can edit our files and how we can save our files. So if you like this video, please like it, subscribe it and share our channel. So for today this is enough. If you have any queries, please comment in comment section. I will definitely respond to that. At last, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.